So yesterday we are discussing about this LODs, right? If you go for this LOD expression, just let me repeat for 5 minutes. So LOD means level of detail. So the definition is like, what is the meaning of level of detail? At which level I want to do the aggregation, right? At that level, I can do the aggregation using LOD functions. So I can do the aggregation at a particular dimension level. That is the meaning of LOD expressions. So because of that person, we can use LODs. So I can do the aggregation at a particular dimension levels. Okay. Now we have three types of LODs: fixed LOD, include LOD, and exclude LOD. So we have already seen that fixed LOD means it will fix the aggregation at particular dimension levels only. So apart from those dimensions, if you try to use any other dimension as a filter, then this fixed LOD result will not change. Okay, so I'm just repeating one more time. So we use fixed LOD to fix the aggregation at particular dimension levels only. For example, if you see in this syntax, I am fixing the aggregation at no dimension level. So in this fixed LOD, I am not using any dimension here. So in this case, what will happen is this will give you the total sales. For example, $100. For example, $100, and now this total sales will not depend upon any other dimension filters or dimensions also. Why? Because in the fixed LOD, we are not using any dimension here. Before column, we are not using any dimension. Because of that reason, whatever the dimension you will use in the sheet or as a filter also, this fixed sum of cells will not change. And corresponding to in this calculation, right? Assume that we have a total sales like $100, but in this fixed calculation, we are using dimension one and dimension two. So my fixed $100 sales will depend upon these two dimensions, dimension one and dimension two only, and will not depend upon any other dimensions and dimension filters. It will fix the aggregation at dimension one and dimension two levels, and it not depends upon any other dimensions. But as we discussed yesterday, if you want this fixed LOD to depend upon other dimensions, right? Then what we have to do? We have to add those dimensions to the context filters. Okay, we have to add those dimensions to the context filters, or what we have to do? We have to use those dimensions in the calculation field, in the fixed LOD, like dimension one comma dimension two, like that we have to use. Okay, just refer to the yesterday class. Okay. Now include what the include LOD will do. The syntax for include LOD is also same. Just let me repeat one more time. See, fixed LOD in this expression, right? We are not using any dimension here. So the same calculation can be written as like this also. As we don't have any dimension in this calculation, so the same calculation can be written like this also. Like within flower brackets, I can write sum of sales. So if you don't use any dimension, then instead of using fixed, right, you can use like this also. Okay. Whenever you see these flower brackets, that is nothing but a fixed LOD. Oh, those are nothing but LODs. Okay. So include LOD also will do the same thing as of the fixed LOD. Include also will aggregate the data or measure at a particular dimensions only. Because of that reason, the syntax is same for everything. But what is the difference between the include LOD and uh, a fixed LOD is include LOD also will fix the aggregation at these dimension levels. And in addition to that, it also depends upon the other dimensions. So you see in this calculation include LOD, we are using dimension 1 and dimension 2. Because of that reason, my sum of sales will depend upon dimension 1 and dimension 2 aggregations. Apart from this include LOD will also depend upon the other dimensions also. So to illustrate this example, I will tell you one example. Now we'll come to exclude LOD. Exclude is exactly opposite to that of fixed LOD. So instead of telling you what is the exclude LOD and all those, just let me tell you syntax. Exclude LOD syntax is also same like exclude. We can use dimension one, dimension two, and uh, sum of sales. But what is the main difference between fixed LOD and exclude LOD is, when I use exclude LOD and dimension 1 comma dimension 2, what this exclude LOD will do is, exclude LOD will exclude these two dimensions and it will do the aggregation at the remaining dimensions levels. Okay, so let me repeat. Exclude dimension 1 comma dimension 2 colon sum of sales means exclude LOD will exclude these two dimensions. It won't consider these two dimensions and it will do the aggregation like sum of sales at the remaining dimension levels in the sheet. And it also depends upon the other dimensions. That is the only difference. If I use fixed LOD here, fixed LOD will fix the aggregation at dimension 1 comma dimension 2 level. But exclude is exactly opposite to that of fixed LOD. It will exclude these two dimensions. Okay, so let me go to here we have some scenarios here. Okay, here we have some scenarios. You just try to practice these scenarios. That is enough, more than enough. So let me tell you the first scenario. I'm just trying to repeat one more time because it is very important for us in real time. So when I when I drag the direct sum of sales into the text here, it is giving total sales in the entire table. Total sales in the entire table. Now I want to fix this aggregation like fixed sales. I want to write here fixed sales. So here also I am using sum of sales only, but I want to fix this aggregation. Fixed, I can say column. Here I don't use any dimension here. So what it will do, this fixed LOD will fix the aggregation, or it will do the sum of sales at entire database level or at entire table level. Without considering any dimension, it will give you the total sales in the entire table without depending upon any other dimension. So let's click on OK. Let's double click it. Now you see in this case, normal sales and fixed sales both are giving same result. But you see when I drag a category, other dimension into the row shelf here, you see my normal sales are aggregated according to the dimension. But you see my fixed sales are not changing. Why? Because in this fixed calculation, I am not using any dimension. So it will still get the total sales at the entire table level without depending upon any other dimension. Now, if you try to drag one more dimension like subcategory into the row shelf, you see my normal sales are aggregated at these two dimension levels. But you see my fixed LOD still giving me the total sales for all the subcategories. So still my fixed sales are giving the total sales of entire table without depending upon any other dimension. This is because of in the fixed LOD, I am not using any dimension. Now you see, even if you try to filter the data based on the category and subcategory, not only the subcategory and category, even if you use any dimension as a filter, you see, if I uncheck the technology here, you see, my normal sales are changing, but my fixed sales are remain same because it won't depend upon any other dimensions. Like even if you uncheck any subcategories like that, it won't change. Fixed sales will still give you the fixed sales at uh, total table level. Total table level means it will do the summation of all the rows and it will give you the result. Okay. Now let me clear these filters. So just select all these filters. Now in the real time, sometimes, so what is the use of this fixed LOD means we have seen yesterday already. So if you want to find out the percentage of these cases out of total sales, then we go for this fixed LODs. So simply numerator divided by denominator. Denominator is fixed sales. So we are fixing the denominator using the fixed LOD. And sometime in real time, right, what they will ask you is they want to see the fixed sales at each category level like that. So they want to fix these sales at each category level. Like furniture, they want to see total sales here. For office supplies, they want to see the total sales here. And for technology, they want to see the total sales here. So what now my requirement is I want to show the sales at a category level, not at subcategory level. Okay. So for that, what I will do, I'll just simply try to create one more calculation here. Just duplicate it, edit it. Now I want to fix my sales at category level. Okay. So for that, what we have to do, we have to include the category in the fixed LOD. Now what it will do, for each category, it will fix the total sales without depending upon the subcategory. Okay. Just see how it will work. So let's drag it here. Now you see, now my fixed sale, I'm fixing the sales at category level. So for each category, the sales will be fixed. Like if I do the summation of all these subcategories, what is that I'm getting? 9,44,000. So the same thing will be fixed for all the subcategories. Like furniture at category level, we are fixing the sales. Similarly, if I go for office supplies, the total sales is like 8,81,000. So we are fixing the my sales at now category level. Okay. Now, if you want to try to find out the percentage, like within this category, right? You can do the same formula. Okay. For example, just give me a second. As I told you yesterday, there is one more method to find out the percentage, right? So let me first just simply tell you how to calculate the percentage here. The percentage at category level. Okay, category level. So the numerator is always sum of sales, which is directly coming from the database, and the denominator is we are fixing the percentage at category level, right? So in the denominator, we have to use the fixed LOD, which is fixed at category level. This one. Let's click on OK and drag it here. And initially you can see 000 here. Don't bother about this. Why? Because Tableau automatically round each and every number to a single digit. So because of that reason, we are getting 0 here. If you go to format option and go to percentage, Tableau automatically multiply it with 100 and shows the percentage symbol also here. Now you see, we are getting, we are fixing the percentage at each category level, right? So if you do the summation of all these subcategories, now I'm getting 100% like this. And if you do the summation of all these, you will get 100% again. So within the each category, we are trying to calculate the percentage of each subcategory. So the simple thing is we have to fix the denominator at this category level like this. Okay. So in the real time, what is the use case of most use case of this fixed LOD is we have to fix the denominator while calculating the percentages. Okay. Now you see, when I fix this, I'm fixing this. See, now you see, I'm fixing this. So this is the fixed LOD, which is fixing the total sales at entire table level. And this is the fixed LOD in which we are fixing the total sales at each category level. Now, I can achieve the same requirement, these two requirements, using exclude LOD also. Using exclude LOD also. But as I told, the difference between this include and exclude LOD, fixed and exclude LOD is exclude LOD will depend upon other dimensions also. Okay. Exclude LOD will depend upon other dimensions also. Okay, I'll show you the difference. But as of now, I'll go to my fixed LOD, just duplicate this one and try to edit this one. Now I want to say exclude all dimensions. I'm saying now exclude all dimensions in sheet. And how to exclude all dimensions in sheet means just write exclude here. In the sheet, whatever the dimension I have, category, just drag it here, comma, use the subcategory also here. Now, what this will do is, it will exclude these category and subcategory, and it will give you the total sales like again, which is similar to this one fixed LOD one. Let's click on OK. Now drag it here. Now you see this fixed LOD, this exclude also giving the same result as of that fixed LOD. But what is the difference in the calculation? In this fixed calculation, we are not using any dimension. But in the exclude LOD, I want to exclude this category and subcategory. Then I want to calculate this total sales. So in this exclude LOD, I'm using the dimension one category comma subcategory. Now, if you want to achieve this fixed LOD, like similar to this fixed LOD calculation, right? Then what I can do, I'll go to this fixed sales category here, just duplicate here, edit, exclude sales of subcategory, or I can say exclude sales subcategory. Okay, I can say like that. You see, fixed LOD is fixing the aggregation at category level. But if I write exclude LOD, it should be opposite actually. I want to exclude my subcategory. Okay, I want to exclude my subcategory and I want to get the total sales. So what it will do, it will go to the sheet, it will exclude the subcategory and it will aggregate the data at the remaining dimension levels. Just let me repeat one more time. What this exclude LOD will do is, while aggregating the sum of sales, it will exclude this dimension because we are using the dimension in the calculation. So it will exclude this subcategory dimension and what are the other dimensions we have in the sheet category. So it will fix the and it will do the aggregation at this category level. In that way, it will this exclude LOD will work actually. You see, just exclude subcategory. Now you see, I got the same answer which I got using fixed LOD. Okay, and remember one more thing: when you use the exclude LOD, you can see one aggregation here that is called ATTR. Okay, whenever you see ATTR means they are using some maybe exclude LOD also. Okay, so this is about fixing the aggregations at a particular dimension levels. Okay, if you have any question, you can ask. Meanwhile, I'll try to look for one more scenario. Okay, the second thing is the second requirement is very easy. I want to fix my total sales and it should depend upon category only. And it should not depend upon any other, it should not depend upon subcategory filter. So what I will do, I'll go to my same, this calculation. So we are using one fixed LOD right here, fixed sales. In this fixed sales, what we are doing, in this fixed sales, we are not using any dimension here. Because of that reason, if you see, if I do category as a filter, I told you just to make it some simple, show filter. Now you see, my fixed sales are fixing the sales at entire table level and it won't depend upon any other dimension. As I said, now I can see total sales is 29 lakhs. And if you try to uncheck any filters here, right, it won't impact the total sales. If you try to uncheck anything here, any filters, it won't impact the total sales because we are fixing the calculation. But what is my requirement now? I want this sales to be depend upon the category and should not depend upon the subcategory. So I want this sales to be depend upon the category now. Now what I will do, as I said yesterday, there are two methods. So I can directly go to the filter shelf. I'll add the category to the context filter. In that way, you see, automatically the sales are changing. Why? Because we are unchecking the technology, right? Because of that reason, it is giving the sales according, it is depending upon the category filter. And if you try to check, if you try to change any filter in the subcategory, it won't affect. You see, I checked supplies and I unchecked suppliers and tables. Still, my fixed sales are remaining same. Why? Because my fixed value would depend upon context filter category only, not on the subcategory, like that. Or what is the another method I told you yesterday? If I remove from context, I will see total sales again. The another method is you can, instead of adding this category to the context filter, directly drag the category into the calculation here. Now just click on apply. Now you see again sales are changing based on the category filter selection. When I uncheck furniture, my sales are changing. But if you uncheck the subcategory, sales are not changing here. So you understood. Now let me go for, I'll try to tell you more examples today on the fixed LODs and all these LODs. So we come to know in which scenarios we can use. So, and you already discussed about this fixing the denominator and percentages. Okay. Now we have one more scenario. Compare actual sales of all region sales with the average of all region sales. Okay. Let me come to this scenario a bit later. Okay. So you understood fixed and exclude, right? Now we'll understand one more scenario. What is the difference between fixed LOD and include LOD? We'll see one scenario. What is the difference between this fixed LOD and include LOD? Okay. So if you just click on this drop down, right, we have so many scenarios here. We can take any one scenario from this one. Um, Now I'll take this scenario. Why? Because we are keep on discussing this scenario, how to do the how to find out the count of customers having sales greater than 10,000. So without any delay or without any lag, let me go to. So first, in this scenario, as discussed yesterday, I want to count how many customers are there having sales greater than 10,000. So this involves two steps here. First, we have to aggregate the sales at customer level. Then we have to apply this condition. Okay. So count using fixed LOD, I'll say here. So I'll add if else statement, fixed. Let me type here first. So we already discussed that this yesterday. So I don't want to repeat this. You see, so first we are aggregating the sum of sales at each customer level, customer one, customer two, customer three. Then we are comparing it with the 10,000. So why we have to aggregate this at each customer level means I want to compare this 10,000 with the total sales of the each customer. Total sales of the each customer. Because of that reason, I want to compare it here. So because of that reason, you see, I'm not using the customer name in the sheet, right? So if you simply mention sum of sales, what the Tableau will do is Tableau will simply do the summation sum of sales at entire table level or at the dimensions what we see in the sheet only. But Tableau here in the sheet, we are not using any dimension here. So what the Tableau will do, Tableau will don't know. We have so many dimensions in the sheet, right? So if you don't mention any dimension here or fixed LOD, what the Tableau will do is Tableau don't know at which dimension level it has to take the sum of sales. So because of that reason, it will take the sum of sales at entire table level. If you don't mention fixed here. So because of that reason, we are telling the Tableau that Tableau, while doing the sum of sales, consider the each customer. For each customer, calculate the sum of sales first. Then compare it with the 10,000. And if this condition is satisfying, right, then only give you the customer name. Else it won't give you anything. So once I get all the customers who are satisfying this condition, then for the entire if statement, do the count of all these customers. Okay. Let's click on OK. Just drag it here. You see, we have 43 customers who are having sales greater than 10,000. So as I told you, if you want to check this manually, I'll go to sheet 29. Sorry, and just keep on repeating. So drag the sum of sales here, drag the sales into the text here. Now I filter it manually. So just click on the filter here, go to at least 10,000. Just click on OK. Now you see how many customers we have? 43 customers. All these customers are having sales greater than 10,000. So in this way, we can evaluate whatever the calculation we have written here, fixed LOD, this is correct or not. In this way, you can evaluate. Now, as I told you, I can get the same number using include LOD also. So I'll go to my fixed LOD, what I just written, just duplicate this calculation, go to edit this calculation. So count using include LOD I will do. Include LOD I will do. So instead of using fixed, what I have to simply do, I just use the include LOD only here. Okay. Now just click on OK. Now say count include here. Just double click on it. Now you see using fixed LOD and using include LOD, I'm getting the same result here. I'm getting the same result here. But what is the difference is if I drag one more dimension, like for example, if I drag one more dimension region into the row shelf, you see my fixed LOD is not giving me the correct answer. My include LOD is giving me the correct answer. Like in the central region, we have 4 customers having sales greater than 10,000. In east, I have 8 customers. If you want to check whether this is correct or not, what I'll do simply, I'll go to my sheet 29, where we have already filtered it to greater than 10,000 using manually, like using sum of sales. Now, let's drag the same region into the row shelf. Now you see, in the central, how many customers I have? 4 customers. All these customers are having sales greater than 10,000. In the east, I have total sales, total customers. Like if you try to select east here, I can see 8 customers are there having sales greater than 10,000. So east 8, central is 4, right? If you go on the sheet 28, you see central 4, east is 8, south is like this. Include LODs, as I said earlier, include LOD will fix the aggregation at a particular dimension which you are using in the calculation. Like for example, if I go to the same include LOD calculation, it will fix the aggregation at this particular dimension level, customer level, and it will evaluate the condition. It will give you the answer. And after this include LOD will also depend upon the other dimensions also. So we are not using the region in this calculation, but still include LOD will perform the same aggregation for this dimension also, for region dimension also. Not only region dimension, what are the dimension we will drag into the filter shelf or a row shelf or column shelf, the same aggregation can be performed at other region levels also, other dimension levels also. Okay. So this is the main difference between include LOD and a fixed LOD. And one more thing I want to say. So this is the fixed LOD, right? So this is also very important. This count fixed is because of fixed LOD. So we can convert fixed LOD into a dimension, maybe just convert it to discrete. Okay. And okay, let me change data type to string. Change data type to string. If I go to my include LOD, I want to say like I just want to try to say something here. Just give a second. Hmm. Okay, so this is not that calculation. Okay, so hope you understood till this point. So let me think of one scenario where we can convert fixed LOD into a dimension, and we cannot convert include and exclude LOD into a dimension. If possible, I'll try to tell you that scenario in the last, but that is a very depth question, depth in practical. So like, okay, let me go for one more calculation. So like we can see all this like, right? Okay, now just let me come to the last scenarios. Like for example, I want to see the total sales, show the total sales of a table, and this total sales should be of those customers who are having sales greater than 10,000. So the same scenario only. Now what is his requirement is just clear the sheet here. Okay, if I drag the sales into the normal sales into the sheet here, it will show the total sales here. Now this total sales is because of customer 1, customer 2, customer 3, and customer, all the customers. Because of all these customers, we are doing this entire this total sales. But you see, for customer one also will be coming in multiple rows. But when we do the summation of for this entire customer one, it will be summing up to like 800, for example. Okay. Now for customer two, maybe assume that we have 20,000. Okay, 20K. And for customer three also is from multiple rows. Maybe when we do the summation of all those rows for customer three, it is summing up to like 15K. And for customer four, like maybe 2,000. So like we have so many customers are there. Now what is my requirement is, I want to get this total sales. I want to get this total sales only for those customers who are having sales greater than 10,000. So customer one is having less than 10,000. So I don't want to consider this person. I don't want to include this customer, and customer four also having sales less than 10,000. So I want to exclude these two persons, and I want to consider only C2 and C3 only, because these two persons are having sales greater than 10,000. So I want to do the summation of all those persons who are having sales greater than 10,000. I want to, and then I want to see those persons sales only in the sheet, like that. So for this also, we have to use the same fixed LOD only. So what is the count of fixed LOD we are doing here? Just so now I don't want to do the count here. Okay, simply I want to fix the calculation for each customer level. Let me get one more calculation with this. Okay, so this simple calculation, I want to filter the data. So this is very important in real time, this scenario also. Okay, so what this will do for each and every customer, it will fix the sum of sales. And next, what is my condition? It should be greater than or equal to 10,000 only. When it is greater than or equal to 10,000, then only I want to get the sum of sales for all those customers, and then only I want to do this summation. So the same requirement we can do in multiple ways. Let me tell you a first thing, simple one here. Just first aggregate the data at each customer level. So this is calculation 9. So just click on OK and drag the calculation 9 into the filter shelf and just select the all values. Instead of sum, you have to select the all values. Just click on next here. At least what is the amount we want? 10,000. Just click on OK. Now, how much we are getting here? 8,20,000. So this 8,20,000 is because of all those customers who are having sales greater than 10,000. Okay, you got, if you want to verify this, whether it is correct or not, what I can do, anytime I can do it manually. So I'll go to my sheet 29 here. Okay, so now you see drag the customer name into the row shell, normal sales into the text here. It will give you the sum of sales for all the customers. For the purpose, arrange it in a descending order. Now apply this filter manually, like at least it should be greater than 10,000. Just click on OK. Now you see, now I got all the customers whose sales are greater than 10,000. Now what I want to do, I want to do the summation of all these customers. So if you want to verify whether correct or not, I go to analysis, go to the totals here, go to the total show column grand totals. Now when you come to the bottom here, now you see I got 8,20,000. So which is similar to the what we have just done using fixed LOD. So this scenario cannot be possible with include LOD and exclude LOD. This scenario cannot be achievable with the help of include LOD and exclude LOD. But the same can be achieved with the help of condition option. Let me remove the calculation 9 fixed LOD. Let me go to the customer name here, drag the customer name into the filter shelf, go to use all condition by sales, sum greater than or equal to 10,000. Let's say 10,000. So what this condition option is doing is, for each customer, it will fix the sum of sales. Then it will, on top of that, it will apply this condition. So just click on OK. It is also giving the same answer. So wherever possible, don't use fixed LOD, go for condition option. Some cases it is not possible, go for fixed LOD in some scenarios. Okay, so let me go back here. Okay, so the thing we have achieved using a fixed LOD. And so what we can do is like we can directly write this calculation line like this, calculation line like this, and we can do. But sometime in real time, we can achieve the same thing with the help of just modifying this calculation. Like what I can do, just remove this calculation. Let's calculate one more time, calculation one more time. I can apply this that condition within this calculation also. I can apply the same condition within this calculation also. Now this calculation 10 is giving you the same answer. Like apply. Now it is coming on true false calculation, which is appearing in blue color. Drag it here and select true here. Very simple. Same answer. Now I want to see all the customers who are having sales greater than 10,000 and less than 20,000, for example. So I'll just copy the same condition. I'm using the fixed LOD here again. Now I'll modify this condition less than or equal to 20,000. Now what is my requirement? I want to see the sum of sales of all the customers who are having sales greater than 10,000 and less than 10,000, 20,000. Let's click on apply. If I do the summation of all those customers having sales between 10,000 and 20,000, I'll get my 392, 3,92,000. So if you want to achieve the same thing, right? If you want to achieve the same thing with the help of include LOD, it is not possible. Exclude LOD also not possible. Okay. So if you try to achieve the same thing with the help of like, okay, let's tell me one more thing here. Now the user is asking to change this 10,000 and 20,000, right? What we can do, we can create two parameters. So one is for 10,000 and one is for 20,000. Replace these values with the parameter and give those parameters to the user so that he can change the values dynamically in this calculation using parameters. Now, if you try to achieve the same thing with the help of include a condition option, right? Just drag the customer name into the filter shelf, use all condition option. Instead of going by formula, just go by field, just go by formula here. So let's try to take sum of sales greater than or equal to 10,000 and sum of sales less than or equal to 20,000. Now you see I got the same answer 3,92,000. And sometimes if you try to achieve the same requirement without using fixed LOD and this condition option, right? Sometimes you may write like this also. Sum of sales greater than or equal to 10,000 and sum of sales less than or equal to 20,000. If you try to achieve this thing with the help of just a sum of sales only, what the Tableau will do is Tableau don't understand that at which dimension you are considering here. So if you are not mentioning any dimension in this calculation using fixed LOD, what the Tableau will do is Tableau directly go to the sheet here and Tableau take the sum of sales directly from the sheet only. Okay, let me try to explain this how this calculation will work actually. So Tableau will go to directly to the sheet. Now it will take directly sum of sales as what is here 29 lakhs, right? This says 29 lakhs. And this 29 lakhs is compared with the sum of sales and this condition. Both the conditions it will be compared. So first condition greater than 10,000, right? So this is correct only. 29 lakhs is greater than 10,000. And second condition, same 29 lakhs is less than 20,000. So both conditions are satisfying. So when you just click on apply and if you drag it to filter shell and if you try to see, we are not getting anything here. It is not showing even true also here. Okay, so let's directly drag this calculation 11 into the row shelf here. Now it is producing false here actually. Why? Because let's try to do the same thing. Here it is 29 lakhs, right? 29 lakhs is greater than 10,000. That is correct. But here 29 lakhs is less than 20,000 means that is wrong, right? Because of that reason, the entire is going false here. If I remove this condition, for example, now 29 lakhs is greater than 10,000. When I click on apply, now it is giving true here. So when you don't mention any dimension in this calculation, Tableau will take the values directly from the sheet only. Okay, in that way it will filter. Let me add that condition again here. Now we'll see how it will work actually. So if you don't mention anything, if you don't mention any dimension in the calculation, what the Tableau will do? Tableau directly go to the sheet and it will see what is the sum of sales in the sheet. Okay, just remember this one. We'll see what will happen. Now, it's the calculation done, right? Just let's drag it to the filter shelf. Okay, we already have that in the we already have that calculation in the row shelf, right? It is producing false now here. Now, when you drag the customer name dimension into the row shelf just before the calculation 11, now we see what will happen. Now, in the calculation 11, we are writing some condition, right? Like this condition. Now, as we don't mention any dimension in this calculation, now the sum of sales will be taken from the sheet, right? So Tableau will go to the first sheet and it will go to the first row in the sheet. And what is the sales here? 886. 886 is greater than 10,000, right? This is correct. And less than 20,000, sorry, greater than 10,000 means wrong, right? So it is giving false here. So the same condition, what you have written here in this calculation will be evaluated for each row in the sheet. The sum of sales will be taken for each row in the sheet and according to that, it will produce either false or true. So this calculation will produce true only for those values which are having between 10,000 and 20,000. Okay, let's see. Let's go here. So instead of dragging it here like this, what I do is drag the calculation 11 before the customer name. Now what the Tableau will do? Tableau automatically arrange the calculation 11 in a descending order or ascending order. So because of that reason, it will show all the false values first. Then if you go down, it will show all the true values here. You see, if I take any true value here, it is satisfying the condition between 10,000 and this sum of sales value is between 10,000 and 20,000. Okay, so like this, it is very important for us to remember that we have to use a fixed LOD or not. We can easily identify. One is if you want to fix the aggregation at a particular dimension level, we can use fixed LOD. Or if you want to aggregate the sum of sales at those dimensions which are not in sheet, like customer name. In this scenario, where I want to see all the customers' total sales having sales greater than 10,000. I want to see the total sales of those customers. Like that. Okay, so it is a very if you keep on going like based on the scenario, we can use this like this. And I'll tell you one more important scenario here. While calculating minimum sales, maximum sales, and average sales also, we can go for either fixed LOD or we can go for include LOD. If you want to calculate average sales, minimum sales, maximum sales, right, of all the customers, right, then I can go for this either fixed LOD or include LOD. But only the difference is fixed LOD don't depend upon any other dimension. Fixed LOD will depends upon the other dimensions also, which are in the sheet or filter shelf also. Okay, now I'll tell you a scenario here. Let's calculate here. I want to find out the average sales. I want to find out the average sales. So if you write simply what is the average sales, you may think that this will give you the correct answer. But what it will do, just drag the sales into the here. This sales, what it will do is, what is the input to the average function here? Just try to understand this one. What is the input to the average function here? Sales here. So this is the sales, which is directly coming from the database. So if the database contains 1 lakh records, for example, the database contains 1 lakh records, it will do the average of all those rows. So this calculation will work in that way. But what is my requirement? I want to find out average sales at customer level. I want to say average customer sales. And like I can say simply like this. I want to find out the average customer sales. Like that, I want to find out. But you see, when I mention average customer sales, customer name I am not using in the sheet. But still, I want to use the find out the aggregation like average at customer level. So in this way, we have to identify the we have to use fixed LOD here. Fixed fixed customer name, like sum of sales. So as I said earlier, the diamond, the expression, what you are using after the column should be a aggregated one. Should be a aggregated one. The aggregation may be anything, sum, min, max, like that. It should be anything. It is not a problem. Like this. Just make sure that you are right. You are using the fixed LOD with these flower brackets. Okay. So this will give you the average customer sales. Now, what is the input to the average function? This fixed LOD. So what it will do first, what the fixed LOD will do? Fixed LOD will do the aggregation for each and every customer first. Okay. It will do the aggregation for each and every customer. Then what it will do? After that, it will do the average. So I will get total sales. Now, this fixed LOD is having, for example, 100 customers. So it will do simply divided by 100. Okay. Total sales, how to find out average means fixed sales divided by 100, simply number of customers. If you want to see the average customer sales, it is a formula, fixed customer sales. And for this overall fixed LOD, we have to use the average function. So when I use this fixed LOD here, this average function will not go to the database, will directly come to this what it has in the inside of this one. So it will do now, for each customer we are having sales like C1, C2. For each customer we have sales. So first it will do the total sales of all these customers in the numerator, and in the denominator it will do the count of customers. Okay. So sometimes if you have this requirement only, then you can use include LOD also here. Just do include LOD. It also give you the same result. Just click on OK. 3659. Average customer sales is, even if you use fixed LOD also, you will get the same answer. But as I told you, the average customer sale is 3,0659. But if you want to see the same average customer sale for each region, this fixed LOD will not give you the correct result, because fixed LOD is fixing the aggregation at customer name level only. It won't depend upon the region level. So if I use include LOD here, just click on apply. Now we will get the correct answer. In this way, we can simply identify that whether average sales of each region is above average or below average. You can simply identify that. For central region, what is the average sales? 845. East, it is 13 like that. Okay. So like that, we can simply find out average customer sale at each region level. Now we see, sometimes you can achieve the same requirement without using any LODs also. Like what is the formula? Sum of sales divided by, let's the same calculation like this only. I'll try to write. Okay, let's write in the same one. Total sales means sum of sales. It will give the total sales in the database, and you can simply do the count D of customers. Count D of customer name. Simple. It will simply do the count of customers. Let's apply. Now you see, I got the same answer. So based on the requirement, sometimes in the interviews, right, particularly when you go to the interview, they will expect this answer. Some people don't know, like you can achieve this requirement with the help of other thing also. They will try to expect this answer, exclude LOD, or sorry, include LOD or fixed LOD. So we'll try to do the same thing here. Okay. So when you're going for interview, right, try to tell all the possible ways, because that person don't know, we don't know that person know which approach. So try to tell all the answers. Okay. Now just comment it here. You see, within the LODs, I'm using already a aggregation here, sum of sales. So for this entire LODs also, I can use the aggregation one more time here. So if you don't want to do this aggregation within the calculation, what I will do is just click on apply. When you change the aggregation in the calculation, that field obviously go to the red color. So Don't worry, just try to drag the same field again one more time and drop on top of this. You see, when you don't mention any aggregation in for this fixed LOD here, what it will do? By default, it will do the sum function here. So it will do the sum of sales for all these customers one more time. But what I can do, I can go to this drop down here. I can go to measure sum, simply change it to average. So like that, you can change it. Okay. Based on the same thing, I want to tell you one more requirement here. Okay, if you want to find out the average region-wise sales, right? You can simply do include a region, sum of sales, overall level, you can take average sales, like average region sales, average customer sales, as well average customer sales. Like that, if you want to find out that average, right? You can use that. Okay, now let me tell you the last example with this LOD, which is a easily understandable by us. So like this one, this subject wise student. Let me take an Excel and just try to explain you. I'll try to explain. So just add one more sheet here. Okay. So I have a student. I have a student here, and I have a subject here. For each student, I have some subject, right? And we have a marks for that subject. Marks. See, I'll tell you a few more examples like where we go for this include LOD or fixed LOD means I have a month. In a month, I have 30 days. For this 30 days, I want to find out for which particular day I got maximum sales. So for this also, we have to aggregate the data at day level. Then we have to take the max of sales like that. Okay, let me take this example first. So I have a person, student A is there. For the Telugu subject, assume that we have a subject like English, assume that English. For in English subject, he got 30 marks actually. First time, when he read the first time exam, he got 30 marks. But as what is the status of this person here is like he failed actually. When he failed, he want to write the same exam again one more time. Assume that he got 45 marks now. He passed now, right? He passed now. But in some cases, right? Uh, in the intermediate like that, we can write this subject one more time also. But if you want to get better marks, right? They are providing. He want to write exam this one more time also. Like in that case, he got 80 marks in English subject. So this is also a pass only, but it is an improvement exam. Now assume the same person is there in the Telugu subject, like we have Telugu subject. The Telugu subject, he got 50 marks, 60 marks. So assume that this time he is not writing any exam directly, he is the pass person. Like we have one more person, person B is there. So maybe in the English. So very straightforward example to understand this fixed LODs in a simple manner. He got 50 marks in this one and he's passed here. So and just take the same B person here, like maybe he's having Telugu exam and assume that he got 90 marks. Okay, he passed also. Let's save this one. Okay, now what is my scenario? My HOD is asking that Venkat person A, what is your total marks? So he has written this English exam 3 times, but what he has to consider? He has to consider the maximum marks here, right? For English subject, he has to consider the maximum marks 80. Okay. Now in the Telugu subject, what he was 60 here. So what is the total marks for this person actually? 80 plus 60, it should be a 140. Okay. So he should not do the summation of all these rows, right? Why? Because at this subject level, he's writing the exams again and again because for the better improvement, for the better performance, for better marks, or he's failed in the earlier, so he's writing one more time like that. So the total marks for the person is 140 here, not the summation of all the rows. You understood, I think. So if you take person B, 50 plus 90 directly English subject and Telugu subject, he written only one time only, so he got again 140 marks. Okay, we are getting both persons same marks, right? Let's change it 80. Like maybe his person is 170 here. Okay, so this result we have to show in the Tableau. Okay, I go to Tableau here. So I'll connect to that Microsoft Excel players. So what is the sheet? Is sheet 13. Just drag it sheet 13 here. You see, like we got the row level data here. Now go to any one sheet in the Tableau, sheet 16. Now, if you try to drag the name here, and if you try to drag the marks here, it will show you the wrong answer. Why? Because for this person here, it will be the summation of all the marks, all the row level marks. But what I have to do here, first I have to aggregate the marks at a subject level. English subject level, I want to aggregate the data. Aggregation means don't think that we have to always use some function only. We have aggregation functions, like for example, so we have sum is also aggregation function, min, max, average, count, quantity. All these are aggregation functions. So aggregation means we are combining multiple rows into a single row. If you use summation, it will do the summation of all these rows. If you do the min function, it will try to fetch the minimum value from all these rows. So finally, it will give you the single row result only. So what is my requirement? I don't want to consider all these rows. I want to consider only maximum marks at this subject level. Maximum marks at this subject level. But if you go to the Tableau here, so what do you have to do? At subject level, I want to get the maximum marks. But we are not using the subject in the sheet, right? Because of that reason, it is very difficult for us to get the maximum at subject level. So if you use the subject in the sheet, right? Now it is very easy for us to like uh, just go to the sum of marks and just do the max here. Now I'll simply get the max marks here for at English subject level 80 and 60 here. Now I can simply do the summation here. But I don't want to display these subject in the sheet. So I remove the sheet here. Now you see what I got answer for a person here, 80 here. What it will do without considering without considering subject here, it will do the max. It will get the maximum marks for all the rows from the all the rows of the person A. For person A, it will go to the all the rows. It will go through the all the rows, and it will try to fetch the maximum value that is 80 here. It will do in that way. You may think that if after taking the maximum here, if you try to apply one more aggregation function like summation, for example, summation, it won't work. Why? Because this sum marks is already aggregated here. So one more time you cannot aggregate. So which is already aggregated, you cannot aggregate one more time. Okay. So if you try to get the max here, it will do the max at person A level, not the subject level. This max mark we will get the not at a student level we will get, not at the subject level. So because of that reason, here what I will do, here I'll keep the summation only here. Now first what I will do here is using the fixed LOD, I will aggregate my data subject level. You see, now what this function will do, it will go to the each subject. Okay, it will go to the each subject and it will try to get the maximum marks in that subject. So here the best approach is I can use the include LOD here. Okay, what the include LOD will do is it will do the same thing as that of fixed LOD only, but this include LOD will also do the same aggregation at each person level also. But fixed LOD will not do that actually. Okay, now you see, once I get the maximum marks for each subject, then I want to do the summation of all these subject marks. Then use the aggregation summation here. So I'm getting some error here. Sum is being called with string. Okay, okay, sorry. Here we have to get marks actually. Okay. So what it will do, I'll just try to explain with the help of Excel one more time. So first it will consider the subject. Each subject it will consider, and from this each subject it will try to fetch the maximum marks. So fetching the maximum marks will be done by this include LOD. Now once I get that maximum marks for each subject, like 80 for English and 60 for Telugu, then I have to do the summation here like 140. 80 plus 60, 140. So the summation we are doing with the help of this sum function. Okay, let's click on apply here. Just double click here. Now you see I got the same answer. Is this include LOD? Okay, for person B we are not getting here correct answer. Why? Because we have not changed this. We have not saved that change here actually. Let's do the save change save here. Come to the sheet, just do the refresh here. Now I got the answer like 140 and 170. Okay, so this is how we have to use the LOD functions. I want to do the aggregation at a particular dimension level using marks first. Then I want to do the aggregation summation. So this is the perfect easy example you can remember. Without using the subject in the sheet, I want to perform aggregation first. Like I want to get the maximum marks first for each subject level. Then I want to do the summation. As we are using include LOD, it is giving you the correct answer for each and every person. Like see, if you try to use the same fixed LOD here, if you don't get this 140 and 170, maybe most of the time it will give, see, we are getting 170 and 170. It will don't consider this name here now. Okay, so I want to perform the aggregation at subject level. Subject is not in the sheet. After that, the same aggregation should be performed for should be depend upon the other dimensions in the sheet. That is the case, go for include LOD. Okay. So I have covered maximum things here. Is for LOD is here. Like you can get average sales by customer March each subject like that. Okay. Okay. So whatever we are able to achieve these requirements, right? So sometimes the same requirement can be achieved with the help of table calculations. We have one more concept in Tableau, which is called table calculations. Wherever possible, use the table calculations only. Don't go for LODs. Wherever table calculations are not possible, then only go for LOD functions. Okay, so what are the examples we have seen today? We'll try to see the same examples with this window functions or table calculations tomorrow. Okay, just give me a second. I'll just try to recall if I forgot anything. Okay, let me tell this latest order date. Okay, we already discussed yesterday, but even if you don't go to the yesterday class also, right? Then uh, you can you can you can watch only this video also for entire LOD calculations. You can ignore the yesterday class if you want, but for better understanding, go for the two classes. You see, now I want to get the maximum date here. I want to get the max date in the order date field. Okay. So this is a calculation 7. So it is a max function we are directly using. Max date I'm using here directly. So this max date, when you try to drag it to the row shelf here, so it is showing 30, 12, 2022. So what this max function will do, it will directly go to the database because this is the field which we are getting directly from the database. So in the database, I have 1 lakh records. Out of all the records, it is trying to get the max date and it is displaying here. Now, when I drag my order date, so for example, when you drag the order date into the row shelf, it will show you what is the maximum date in the 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. In the 2019, the maximum date is December 31st, 2019. Like for we have for 2022, the max date available is like 3012, like that. So this normal function will aggregate at all the dimensions in the sheet. Whatever the dimension you will drag it to the sheet, the same function will be aggregated at each dimension level in the sheet. For example, if I drag for customer name in the sheet, add all members, you see what will happen. The same aggregation now will be performed at all the dimensions in the sheet. We have for each year, and for this customer, the 2019 latest this person has ordered, latest date for this order date is for this person is 7/3/2019, like that. So as it is a normal max function without using any LODs here, it will directly depend upon all that. It will do the aggregation at all the dimensions in the sheet. Okay. Now, but in real time, sometimes what they want is like they don't want like this. So they want like, so just remove the customer name here for now. And if I use the fixed LOD here, for example, if I use the fixed LOD, I don't want my LOD to depend upon any other dimension, and I want to get the order date here. Max order totally I want to get here, but I don't want this to be dependent upon any other dimension. So this is a calculation of fixed max date. Let's click on apply. Now let's drag this into Rochelle. So you see, automatically it's giving 2022 only for all the years. Why? Because my LOD is not depending upon any other dimension here. Even this data also it won't depend. It will directly give you the max order date. Directly go to the database table, and it will try to fetch the maximum date. Then it will display in the sheet without depending upon any other dimension. Okay. If you try to exact date, and if you try to use discrete here, still it will show the max latest date here. So because of that reason, so even if you remove the order date from the row shelf, in general, using normal max function and using fixed LOD, will get the same answer here. But if you try to use any other filters, like order date as a filter now, show filter, now region as a show filter, even if you uncheck 2019, it won't affect here, this one. Okay. So if you uncheck the 2022, for example, you see, even if you uncheck this 2022, fixed LOD is showing the same result, but my max normal function is depending upon this dimension filters. Okay, so because of this reason, we will use this fixed LOD in most of the some YTD calculations, MTD month to date calculations we can use. So as I told you at the starting of this class, this fixed LOD is not using any dimension here. I can remove this fixed part here. So this is the meaning. It is nothing but a fixed LOD only, because we are still using the flower brackets here. So it is nothing but a still fixed LOD only. If you don't use any LODs here, and but you are writing the expression within the calculation within these flower brackets, that is nothing but a fixed LOD. Just click on apply. There will not be any change in the result. Okay. So like that. Okay. Sorry. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll try to finish with one more important scenario which is asked in the interviews and real time also we can see. I want to say, I told you one example, right? Okay. So I have a subcategory in the row shelf, and I have a sales in the sheet. Now you see, just arrange it in a descending order. Now what is my requirement is, if the sales is below 50,000, I want to category it as a D category. If the sales are between this and 1,20,000, I want to category all these subcategories as C category. Like that, I want to divide the categories based on the sales value. So I'll just tell you quickly. So I'll simply write a calculation, like I'm just writing if else calculation. This is also a very one of the most important example for you to understand what is the LOD concept. Okay, what is the LOD concept? So I'll just simply write my calculations here. If it is less than or equal to 50,000, sorry, with the sum of sales, just let me write and then we'll explain. So you see like A category, B category, C category, D category. So now what I'm saying is like if the subcategory sales, if the subcategory sales is less than 50,000, I want to I want to divide all those subcategories into category D. And if it is less, if the subcategory sales is less than 50,000 and sorry, greater than 50,000 and less than or equal to 1,20,000, I want to divide those into C category like that. And if this condition is satisfying, then I want to divide all those categories into B category. Else it should be A category. So let's write this calculation. Just apply this one and drag that ABCD calculation into the row shelf. You see what will happen. Now you see, based on the conditions, I'm getting category A, category B, category C, categories D. So all these categories are, all these subcategories are satisfying this condition, first condition, less than 50,000 are having sales less than 50,000. So they are divided into category D here. Now, how it is happening is, in this calculation, I am not mentioning any dimension here. When I don't mention any dimension in the sheet, in the calculation, what the Tableau will do is, Tableau directly go to the each row in the sheet and it will take the sales and it will compare it with this condition. So, and it will give the according to the result. So this is satisfying this condition. This is not satisfying any three conditions, but so we are getting else condition is A. So sum of sales now will be taken from each row in the sheet. And based on the sales value and the conditions what I have written, it will give you the ABCD result like this. When I don't mention any dimension in the calculation, this sum of cells will be taken from each row in the sheet and this condition will be evaluated and we'll get these ABCD categories like that. Now, if I go to row shelf, if I remove my subcategory from the row shelf, now you see, now you may expect ABCD categories in the output in the sheet here. But you see, now I got only one category, that is category A in the sheet. Why? Because when I don't mention any, we have subcategory in the sheet earlier. Because of that reason, we have multiple sum of sales in the sheet, multiple rows in the sheet. But as we remove the subcategories from the sheet, this sum of sales will be taken from the sheet itself directly. And that value is 29 lakhs. This is not falling under any of the three categories. So it is producing the else condition and it is giving A here. Okay. But my user is asking that I don't want to show the subcategory in the sheet. I want to remove, I don't want to show any dimension in the sheet. But these categories should be, these sum of sales should be based on the each subcategory. These conditions should be checked for each subcategory and then I have to get ABCD like that. Now what I will do, here I have to go for fixed LOD. As we are not using the subcategory in the sheet, right? Then how I can aggregate, how I can get the sum of sales for each subcategory? There is no option except using fixed LOD. There is no other option except using fixed LOD. Let me write this first. Just give me a second. Okay, just try to put everything in the sum of sales and let's search for subcategory here. You can directly drag that here. So if you are going for interviews, right, these fixed LODs will make you select or not select in the interviews. So just replace everywhere the same fixed LOD. Wherever you have sum of sales, let's take that using fixed LOD. If you try to replace only one at one place only, right, you will get error here. Why? Because we are discussed, right? For this entire fixed LODs, we can use one more aggregation function like sum or like that. But you see, if you come here, so this sum of sales is using aggregation function. But this fixed LOD is not using aggregation functions. Because of that reason, you will get cannot mix aggregate and non-aggregations. So if you try to replace all the sum of sales with the fixed LOD, Now you see I got the correct answer because any LOD or any any function is not using the aggregations. Of course, sum of sales is using the aggregation, but entire fixed LOD we are not using any aggregations. Okay. Now you see now this sum of sales is not will not taking from the sheet now. What it will do? It will first aggregate the sum of sales for each subcategory. Even though we don't have subcategory in the sheet, we are telling the Tableau that while doing the sum of sales, consider each subcategory. After that, then only compare the subcategory sales with this calculation. Now let's click on apply. Of course, we get when we change the aggregation, we get like red color like this. Then you can click on like this. Now you see, I got ABCDs here. So based on this, what you can do, you can use the you can create a pie chart also with this. With this fixed load, you can use the pie chart also. Now, what is happening is if you click on this ABCD drop down, okay, okay, automatically when you use the fixed LOD, right, automatically string is selected here. Okay, now if you are just go back one time here, so this is very important. You can use the pie chart also here. But if I try to edit this and if I try to use the include LOD here, now you see, just click on apply. Just now you see for ABCD we are automatically getting count here. Okay, let's calculate this again here and go to a new calculation. Just just do the same thing here. Just click on apply. Now now you see automatically this calculation 7 is giving count here. So we can change it to either uh, default properties like total using summation or like that only we can change it. So if you drag the calculation 7 into the sheet, right, you don't get that answer here. Whatever we achieved with the help of fixed LOD, you cannot achieve the same thing with the help of include LOD. Why? Because whenever you drag this into the sheet, right, Tableau automatically will do the summation for this all these include LODs. So because of that reason, you won't get any correct answer if you use include LOD here for this scenario. And you won't be able to make the pie chart whenever you use the include LOD for this particular scenario. Okay. So hope you understand. Let me know if you have any